Storm Track 7 meteorologist Kiel is back with us here this morning to talk more about this storm. And Kyle, you were actually in our Storm Chaser 7 vehicle as those storms rolled through. What was it like being in the middle of them?
It was incredible, to say the least. We really started out in Waterloo at about 11:15 and then made our way down into Tama County. And this was as we were entering the town of Traer. You can see that there are some tree limbs hanging from the power lines. There was a lot of damage, a lot of debris on the road as we were heading our way south into Tama County. You can see that the wind was just driving the rain across the road. It was blinding at times. Our chief photographer, Daniel Hampy, and I had to pull over several times due to the fact that the rain and the wind were just so bad. I estimated the wind based on radar and what I was seeing about 50 to 60 miles per hour, and that was just the start of the event in Tama County because it lasted about 3 hours here in eastern Iowa. The car was shaking back and forth, so that's how I knew we had those severe winds, but luckily Storm Chaser 7 is a very sturdy vehicle, so we were staying safe. And then once we got further into Tama County, we saw those grain bins that were damaged, as well as the trees and power lines that were over the roadways on Highway 63. Now, this was an event that happens only every couple of years in Iowa. This was a little more widespread than what we've seen in recent years, and this is called a Derecho. This actually started in South Dakota. We can take a look at that here on our Storm Track 7 live Doppler radar. It started at about 2 o'clock, and at about 3 o'clock is when we started to see damage reports in South Dakota. That continued over the next several hours. Once it got past Sioux City, it started producing widespread damage, and then toward 11 or 11:30, it's when it started to make its way east of Interstate 35. That's when we started to get reports of 70 to 100 mile per hour winds, and that continued on for several hours in eastern Iowa, and even several hours after that, this derecho tracked into Ohio. It had a damage swath of 770 miles. The minimum swath of damage is 250 miles to be classified as a derecho, and this was a 14-hour event. Daniel?